second half of this one. He's been, he's been fiery, Jarrett Gonzalez-Quiros, as we expected. He's won 17 of 18, just like Joe Cordina. A bit like Fiaz and Murphy, matching records, but in this one, Cordina at the much higher level.
Yeah, and Quiros, look at there from Quiros. He hasn't got the engine. He heard Joe and he just couldn't jump on him. And if that would have been the other way around, Cordina would have been all over him, and that's maybe experience or just better fitness.
One thing I like what Joe does as well, when his opponents letting their hands go in front of him, he sinks down to the body very quick. He changes the target of attack, and when he's just been caught, he'll bite on his gum shield and just try and work the body, and I think a lot of the time it breaks up the attack.
Body shot from Quiros. He's not done. He might be losing these rounds, but he's having his moments in the fight. It's a big opportunity, this, for the 24-year-old. Cordina needs to keep his concentration.
And keep it long, Adam. I think, look, you can let your combinations go, step in behind the double jab, throw the long right hand. I don't think it needs to be hooking with Quiros, because that's when he has his best opportunities, as we see with that left hook he landed in the previous round.
And utilise that experience he's picked up, the former world champion. He's a family man, a couple of girls and a boy. There's plenty happening in the Cordina house. It's busy.
For the most part, you know, I was sort of saying Quiros should be throwing more, doing more work. He's you know, just there's too sparse the bits of the effort that he makes. But Cordina is walking him down, not giving him much escape routes, not giving him much opportunities to mount an attack.
Beautiful 4 or 5 jabs there, Sonny.
Yeah, and the whole time his right hand was cocked, and he's constantly half flirting with the idea. It's almost like he's shaking it. Sometimes he'll shake it and stop, but then a right hand just like that comes out of it and it bursts, and it's hard to read that.
It's the difference in speed, the reactions as well favour Cordina. That's why you just keep it long. He'll struggle for the remainder of this fight if he does that, Cordina.
Good shot.
That's lovely feint there before he threw the jab. He just dipped his legs as well, just changed the height, allowing the punch up with that left hand.
He's a beautiful craftsman, Barry, isn't he, when he's at his best, Joe?
He is, but also as well, and as we saw in the last round, can be a little bit gung-ho, and Anthony, listen, you need a little bit of that magic to get the job done, which he's done in the past. Good jab, it's lovely.
And I feel like if Joe Cordina wanted to, he could walk Quiros on shots all night.
Just got everything back under control, like Gary Lockett wanted. Listening to instructions, Joe Cordina, mature and sensible, and that's what this guy's got to do tonight. Jack Catterall needs one of those performances which reminds us that he is world class. Maybe he should have become a world champion against Josh Taylor first time around. That controversy, he got the job done the second time. Got the job done against Regis Prograis, but it went wrong against Arnold Barboza Jr. Just skipping in the dressing room. We don't often see that, Darren.
Every now and again, nice to see Tommy Coyle sat on the sofa there.
Tommy was there last week in Hull, and what a night it was. He was an exciting fighter, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had plenty of wars. We miss him.
10 rounder here, the hors d'oeuvre before that main event between Catterall and Eubank, live on DAZN. A fantastic July in store. I don't know what you're looking forward to most, Sonny. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, no, and I can't even pick a fight right now, but the main event, just like that was a great shot. I think the main event after this is going to be an absolute cracker.
I'm looking at Gonzalez-Quiros as well and thinking, like, what are his keys to success at this stage of the fight now? And I think it's try and drag Cordina into a bit of a war. You've seen when he walked him onto that hook a couple of rounds ago, it's when he got Cordina to trade with him. So I think he needs to be busy, try and be a bit more aggressive. When Cordina, as I say, he's keeping it long, he's having it all his own way.
When Cordina keeps his hands up, his elbows tucked in tight, when he maintains that shape, Quiros has no entry to get any success. It's all about if Joe makes a mistake then. So for me now, it's just about discipline for Joe. 4 rounds left. You want to try and get the finish if you can, but sensible. If you don't get the stoppage, you don't get it. Just be sensible with your approach. There's bigger fights ahead for you. But if you lose, there's no fight ahead for you.
And Quiros has won his last 5, and he still will fancy the task. He knows that Cordina can be stopped, but the class with Cordina, if he can stay out of trouble, and that's the problem. Quiros has got the fast hands.
But that's throwing that body shot. What Gary Lockett said, leaning back with your chin in the air. He doesn't make many mistakes, Joe. He doesn't make many mistakes. When he makes them, they're big, aren't they?
And it's usually when he's punching, he's chasing that extra last bit of work.
Is he trying to really impress though, Sonny? That's the thing.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes that want and desire to impress can leave you in a sticky situation where he's flowing so much right now and he's seemingly in so much control. Why give probability away at this stage of your career?
I think that's exactly what it is, Adam. I think he wants to impress. He wants to remind people what they've been missing. But it does give Quiros the opportunity to land a big shot. But on the flip side, it makes it very exciting.
But it's a fight he's not losing. It's a fight he's winning, relatively comfortable on the cards. There's only flashes of danger, really. And that's the truth of it.
I'm with you, Barry. Just get the win. Stay disciplined now. Stay switched on, focused. Don't make any silly mistakes. Get the win and move on.
Yep, it's all about getting that activity, the momentum going again, reminding the world what we've been missing, and there's definite class of Cordina. Body shots were good. Quiros hurt there, just folded, and a right hand from Cordina. Big moments for the Welshman, and Quiros very much backed up. And there's a shift then.
He's got to stay calm in his approach. He'll put the foot on the gas, but not reckless.
Bell comes, Quiros needed it back to his corner. And he was hurt there, Sonny.
And he got there before his trainer as well. You could see the genuine pain in his face when that body shot landed from Joe. And again, it's where he's having so much success throughout the fight. As soon as he gets his feet down quicker and lets those body shots go, he often gets to the target before Quiros can even maneuver his defense. He did a really good job as well, making the ring really small. He didn't jump in, he didn't throw a shot. He just kept close to him as close as he could, found his feet again, and went back to work. Good exchange there from Joe Cordina.
Yeah, it was a really good shot, wasn't it? He shortened it up, he went through the middle of the guard instead of going round the side of the elbows, and you can see the reaction. He dipped Quiros, but he managed to survive. He held on and landed a right hook there, but a really, really good shot from Cordina.
Yeah, sweet work from Joe Cordina just to get Jarrett Gonzalez Quiros back into his box, because he's been sprightly at times. He's hurt the Welshman. 9 minutes to go. Is he just going to box sensibly and get that W? Or will he try and excite? See the statistics there, the percentage, the punches thrown, landed, all in Cordina's favour. He's winning it by a mile on the card, surely. So, yeah, it's stick or twist, isn't it?
Yeah, and even though there has been some success from Gonzalez, I do think that Joe Cordina's done a very good job at stamping it out quite quickly. Every time he's had a clean shot or landed, he's got control back relatively quickly, so I don't think there's too much you could be looking at giving Gonzalez for this fight so far.
And that goes down to that, we said, ring generalship, just understanding where to be at the right time, and a little just with your feet just close things down, don't they?
It's the ring IQ, Darren, isn't it?
Yeah,
being that great amateur to British, Commonwealth, world champion. This is a really good package Joe Cordina has.
So much know-how, and I think just backing off of that, you've got to give Quiros Gonzalez a lot of credit. If you look at that punch stats there, only 28% have landed from Cordina. And with all of what we've just said, the quality, etc., does show you he's had a knack here, Quiros Gonzalez, of getting out of the way and staying out of trouble. And that's not easy against someone as classy as Cordina.
Both have been hurt at times, but both still very light on their feet. And Quiros with a body shot, quite punch hard enough, maybe.
Just not often enough, I think, as well. He's made Joe respect the power a little bit. Cordina, sorry, respect the power a little bit, but he just hasn't been able to, go again. There's no phase 2, phase 3 of the attack,
which is surprising, because the Mexican fight is normally a non-stop, and maybe he's saving a bit for down the stretch. Left hooks are dangerous, and in the 8th round, Catterall still having moments.
He does not need to be trading left hooks with Quiroz, Cordina. Does not need to be doing that. On the flip side, that's exactly what Gonzalez wants.
Because, yeah, right now, that looks like the only percent where Joe Cordina might not win this fight. It's only when he's opening up and staying there. But I still think he did a good job. He took the shot well, and he ended the boss of the exchange, I thought.
I wonder if Cordina's enjoying this. The boxing and a bit of fighting as well in the right hands of Quiroz, and he's still a danger here late on in the fight, and Cordina's got to be careful. That's better from the Welshman.
Yeah, a bit of meat in our right hand there from Cordina. Just keep those hands up, his elbows tucked in as tight as you can, those hands high, and turn the body into the shots. Inside your body frame with every punch.
Let's get over to Charlie to see how the three guests have it.
Thanks, Adam. Here with T. Last time we spoke, it was one-way traffic. Been a few turbulent moments in there. Does Joe just need to ride this out to get the win now?
Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to get the win. His jab and body shots ain't missing.
Jordan, at times I've been watching through my fingers a little bit, trading maybe a little bit unnecessarily, like they've been saying. The left hooks. What have you made of it?
Maybe not. Listen, I think Joe's he's brought the belt out, in my opinion, man. He's picking him apart now. He's putting together the clean away. And I think he slowed down a little bit, the other guy. And again, he's just trying to turn it into a dogfight. And Joe's matching him and beating him in the other department. So Joe running away with it, in my opinion, man.
Josh, there's always going to be that element of ring rust, but enough here. Joe just needs to shut it out.
Yeah, I think he's settled down now. He's boxing well on the outside, and obviously, like you say, he's realised that the Mexican's dangerous on the inside, and he's playing it safe, which is good for Joe.
Cheers, guys.
Tier and Jordan have it by 7, and a shutout on Josh Padley's card. Darren, do you agree?
Yeah, he's winning the fight. You would say relatively comfortable, bar a shot here and there from Gonzalez when he switches off.
More comfortable than you can say comfortable.
Yeah, so I struggled there, didn't I? I'd say that's 23 years to get punched in the head, that is. And the last few years being around you, Barry.
Yeah.
I think that's worse, isn't it? Sammy, what do you reckon? Every round or pretty much? I mean, he's had his moments, Quiroz. He's played his part.
Yeah, I think sometimes the way the judges seems quite interesting, but I think with Cordina winning maybe 3, 4, 5 rounds clear in a row, them rounds where the bigger shot might be and a bit of a closer one, some of those might go against Cordina, just for the way I feel like judges often score fights, but I do think he's in a comfortable lead here.
Low there from Quiroz. Joe just looks at referee Marcus McDonald. I'm sure he'll want to give a couple back, knowing the Welshman, but Gonzalez Quiroz is still desperate to try and find a way to take home this WBO global title. More importantly, if he can get a victory over Joe Cordina, his own career just absolutely takes off. But it's got to be a knockout now, Barry.
Yeah, I just think I've been saying it all game, just a little bit lower for Joe. He only got to widen his stance, just a little bit lower. It just makes him a hard attack in the fight, and I just think punching up for him would be much better. Everybody feints, he dips low and he punches up with the jab, and it's a beautiful punch. It's good, really.
He just likes throwing that left hook a bit upright, doesn't he, Joe? But I think that's how he sort of gets that last bit of power out of it as he squares his shoulders a bit.
But if he's low with it, he can almost, when you can more turn your body, you can almost chop down
Throw over, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit like what Quiroz is doing when he's throwing somebody's hook.
That's nice from Cordina, nice sharp reactions there.
Just shook his right hand, Cordina. Wonder if there's a slight issue there, back behind the jab. And here comes Quiroz again, backing up Cordina on the ropes.
I think that's more of an idiosyncrasy, or whatever it's called, when he does it, sort of a habit. What? Idiosyncrasy.
It's a great word. Good jab from Cordina. Back comes Quiroz. He's really giving it a shot.
He's switched off a little bit here, Joe Cordina.
But you know the Mexican's going to have to come. He's going to have to start throwing the kitchen sink a little bit. His corner getting more animated. There's more punches coming out. Good body shot though.
That was beautiful. The right uppercut followed by the left to the body.
And the roll after it as well, which he should be doing all the time. Do you think that? Sorry, Adam. Do you think that'll play in Joe's hands on if he comes right down to him now?
I think, look, like you said there, the way he's rolling under, he's got to time the roll rather than just staying low, give him the target and take it away.
Quiroz best round there, Adam.
Yeah, I thought Quiroz boxed really well at times in that one. Crisp work from Cordina, but Quiroz late on, and surprisingly, in his first 10-rounder against a former world champion.
Let's stick to the basics, Joe. Don't walk into anything stupid, right? Listen, I know your time is out, your speed is out, you've got too much of this, kid. Let's not do anything stupid now this last round, okay?
2 weeks to go, a fortnight today, the biggest fight of the year. Usyk against Dubois, the rematch, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Saturday, July the 19th, live on DAZN, exclusively on DAZN. Cannot wait for fight week. It's going to be absolutely electric. I'm sure Joe Cordina will be down there. He's just got to get this win. He'll be a mile ahead of the 3 judges' cards from Luxembourg, Poland, and from England. Jarrett Gonzalez-Quiroz surely needs the knockout, but he may be saving the best for last, the Mexican.
Yeah, and he's come out with a lot of ambition, met Joe right in the centre of the ring, but straight away gets caught with a couple. Got close there with that left hook though.
This is exactly what you need after over a year out the ring. You know, a good, decent 10 rounds under your belt.
Do you know what, it's not just about finding your range and your distance, it's about, you know, reminding you about what it's like under pressure, the stamina, you know, when we go back to listen to instructions in the corner, all that sort of stuff. And Gary Locke is brilliant because he treats every fighter like it's their first fight. So he's telling them about the basics. I mean, he's a world champion. Why would you tell him that? It's the right thing to tell him, isn't it?
But if he was in here tonight against someone he could have just rolled over in 1 or 2 or 3 rounds, he would have missed out on all of that. He wouldn't have shaken off the rust. He wouldn't have known really how far back he was.
I think it's a really good match, this, for Joe Cordina to move back into boxing under the spotlight on a big show against a very tough and admirably brave and committed opponent in Jarrett Gonzalez-Quiroz. He's not going to win this fight unless something dramatic happens late on, but he's been a really good test for Cordina and a good jab again for the Welshman, and it's probably just what he needed. Can he be a big impression on this lightweight division? Can he win a world title again?
Maybe, but it's a tough ask for anybody because it's a really, really hot division, still is. We go back to the Mexican. His first 10 rounds, he's a former world champion, and look how good he's been.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd have him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, shot.
Yeah, it's been a really good performance from Quiroz, but Joe Cordina has had the class and the IQ and the generalship, and now he's just putting his foot on the pedal. Quiroz coming apart slightly, but just so game, Sonny.
Yeah, and you can really see clear signs that at slight levels below this, Quiroz could be a real handful, but Joe Cordina is a world-class fighter on his best. Very, very hard to beat.
Imagine fighting a world-class fighter in your first 10-rounder. Absolute madness.
At 24.
It's unbelievable.
He's put a great shift in tonight. He can be really proud of himself, Jarrett Quiroz. But Joe Cordina will stay out of trouble, surely, for these last 20 seconds or so. Quiroz has got to go for it. Cordina back with a couple of hooks and a right hand again. Really good action. These couple of fights have been with Akib Fiaz and Alex Murphy, and these two, Cordina and Quiroz, have given the Manchester crowd really good 10-rounders. Falls to his knees, Quiroz. A big hug of respect. Excellent night's work for both of them. Joe Cordina will get the win, but I tell you what, Jarrett Quiroz can be very proud of himself. We'll have him back, and Cordina can move on. Just what we needed.
Yeah, do you know what? I think a number of boxes being ticked there. Like you said, the opponent there, Quiroz, he'll get opportunities off the back of that. Showed that he can fight and he's willing to get in there with anyone. Barry said former world champion, first 10-rounder. Gary Lockett just looking at me to say, he was tough, wasn't he? But yeah, and then look, Joe Cordina's got the rounds. He would have brushed off some of those cobwebs, and he can move forward into big, meaningful fights where potentially, you know, some sort of eliminator or something, because he'll be desperate and hungry, Barry, to get back to fight for titles.
Yeah, and because I thought it was a decent performance, but for his level and for world level, it wasn't a world performance, so nobody at world level is going to be shaking in their boots. And that'll do him a favour, because they'll think, he's past his sell body now, or that's an opponent for me, perfect opponent. Say Abdullah Mason wins the world title now. He'll think Cordina's perfect opponent, former world champion, didn't look great, didn't get rid of a Mexican who's in his first 10-rounder. You can sell that narrative, and then they'll give him the opportunity, and it's a really hard fight for him. Or Sam Noakes, if he gets the win over Nelson, he gets the opportunity for the world title there, because even though it was a decent performance, it wasn't stellar, and so it shouldn't be when you've been out of the ring for over 12 months. And then we're coming back off a loss. So you got rid of the ring rust, you got all those things we talked about that are important for moving on to the next step.
Fabulous division at world level, the 135-pounders, and this guy's back, Shakur Stevenson against William Sabeda, also Hamza Shiraz and Evan Balanga, really good fight night. Ring Magazine 3, can't wait for it, New York, a week today, live on the zone. Gervonta Davis, we say goodbye to Vasily Lomachenko, what a wonderful career he had. Keyshawn Davis, Andy Cruz, Frank Martin, a fantastic division. Joe Cordina is part of it now. It's a victory, and how wide did the judges have it?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action here in Manchester, we go to the judges' score totals. Bob Williams, 100-90. Marta Lesnar, 99-91. Nurman Adjovic, 98-92, all three. Your winner by unanimous decision, and the new WBO Global Lightweight Champion, the Welsh Wizard, Joe Cordina.
Every round on one card by 8 and by 6. That's right. And Garrett Gonzalez-Quiros has the embrace and has learned a great deal tonight, the Mexican. Really good experience for him, but it is Joe Cordina's evening. He has the WBO Global Belt. It's only a minor title, but it'll put him in a really good position. The former world super featherweight champion, Barry, is now at lightweight and a danger. Super featherweight, you.
I think, no, listen, he's good enough. He has the ability to win another world title if he gets the opportunity. I think he will, because he's been a former champion, and you'll see that as not a stellar performance. I think it elevates him to get an opportunity. Some think he's the weakest link, and he's not. But I thought it was an okay performance for being out for so long, in my opinion. He'll be disappointed, but those rounds, as Darren already said, are going to be invaluable for him now if he goes on to a bigger fight.
It's job done. Job done there. He's done what he set out to do, get the win. He's got rounds now, and he can push on to bigger and better things, Adam.
He's had a really tough time, Joe Cordina, waiting to come back after that loss to Anthony Kagacha. He'll be delighted to get 10 rounds under his belt. He's got a little belt too, and he'll be speaking with Charlie and Eddie as well.
Cole, what did you make of that? Gonzalez certainly played his part in the ring there tonight.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it was a really competitive fight. Even the rounds were competitive, but Joe clearly won the fight. I think one of the scorecards I had at the same, I think I had to give the Mexican something, maybe 2 rounds, because he was trying so hard. But the matchmaking, whoever made that match, I think it was perfect matchmaking. Joe's been out for quite a long time. He needed a hard fight just to get back into it. Got the rounds under his belt as well. I thought it was a very, very good performance. But I like Quiros, but I like to see him back. He's typical Mexican, gives it 100%.
Tony, we were talking about ring rust heading into that one tonight. As Cole said, in terms of cobwebs being blown away, that was probably pretty bang on for Joe Cordina tonight.
He shook a lot of them off. I thought he was quality from the get-go. I thought he did lose a couple of rounds. I thought Gonzalez showed some really good stuff in some rounds, but overall, Joe Cordina was the boss all fight from the start to the end. I thought the cleaner shots were from him, the more hateful shots were from him, and I just thought his game was better all round tonight. Gonzalez is good on the front foot at times and running clusters and combinations, but nothing as serious note landed. The powerful shots and the hateful shots came from Joe Cordina.
Okay, well, let's hear from the Welsh Wizard. He's standing by with Charlie Parsons.
Cheers, Jamie, and congratulations. Joe Cordina joins me here ringside. Couple of tricky moments in there. He could certainly punch, but back out here in Manchester, how do you assess your performance?
Yeah, it was all right, considering 14 months out of the ring. I thought it was a good performance, considering. But got a little mark there, a little boo-boo. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I needed something like that, 10 rounds. He was tricky. There was nothing to watch on him, so I was going off purely his record on box rec and looking at his knockouts, and I needed something like that to be switched on, because I'll be honest with you, Gary picked someone who was 19 and 0 with one draw, but with a lot less knockouts. And I know someone like that, I'm not going to respect their power. So in the back of my mind, subconsciously, I might take it lightly. This one, I wasn't able to take it lightly because of his knockout ratio. But I managed to get in there. My timing's way off, but I needed something like that to get me back into the mix and a fight to come back with.
You talk about your timing now. I asked you earlier on in the week, I said, look, it's a comeback. You said, don't call it a comeback, but there is that element of the ring rust and just getting out and getting those 10 rounds under the bank. Obviously now teaming up with Gary, new beginnings, and then you can now start to get forward, a bit of momentum in your stride as well.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, when I'm home and I was training in Essex and I was coming home, I was always training in Gary's gym, but I was never spending time one-to-one with him. Obviously, I was in and around the boys, but now I'm with Gary. I'm doing my one-to-one sessions with him, and we're practicing certain things, and we're still learning. We're learning each other and getting used to each other. So I think the next fight, my next camp, will be a lot better, and it'll be a lot sharper. Joe Cordina, and it was the one that we're used to seeing. But listen, nevertheless, it was a good performance considering 14 months out of the ring and the quality of opponent I come back to.
Consummate professional, Gary. Moving forward, same as what Joe says, look, just get out. You've got that momentum now. You've worked together. You know how capable he is. Everyone knows just how talented Joe Cordina is. Back onto world honours at 135 pounds.
Well, listen, he's one of the most talented fighters in Britain, I'd say. But he's had 14 months out of the ring. We haven't really sort of spent enough time together really to bond. But listen, he had to bite down on his gum shield a couple of times tonight just to get through. I mean, Eddie sent me a couple of opponents. I picked a Spanish guy who had 6 stoppages out of 20, and he said, nah, let's pick this Mexican with 13 stoppages out of 17. I was like, well, you're mad. He went, no, I need to be switched on. So listen, don't worry listening to me, you know. But no, listen, it was a good 10 rounds. I prefer that he had the 10 rounds rather than going out and blowing someone away in 1 or 2 rounds. Get rid of the ring rust, and the next fight will be a lot better.
Promoter Eddie Hearn, it's always squeaky bum time a little bit when you bring the Mexicans overseas. People talk online, oh God, what's going to happen? But Joe Good there did what he needed to do, and now activity.
Yeah, I was with Gary. I thought I preferred the Spaniard, to be honest with you. I thought it was a much easier night, but what we got is a real quality opponent. Every time we bring a Mexican fighter over, you get someone who's game, who can punch, who's got a great tank as well, great engine. And yeah, I'm proud of Joe, because it was getting a little bit tough in there at times, and they're the kind of fights that when you don't really want it anymore, when you don't really fancy it anymore, it goes the other way. And like Gary said, he bit down on his gum shield, stood there, fought out with him at times, and showed the desire that he has left. Quality fighter. I mean, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in Britain, we know that. And that was a big 10 rounds bank. Now he gets to work with Gary, out again in around October time in a bigger fight. Got this now, top 15 in the world. We want to try and get him in a position to fight the winner of Abdullah Mason against Sam Noakes. That's the aim, to try and become a 2-division 3-time world champion. And that was a solid 10 rounds banked after a long 14 months out of the ring.
Eddie, there was a little bump in the road, but you started the magical journey together. Those nights in Cardiff were fantastic. Abu Dhabi, you've done so much together. You talk about that world title. That has to be next. He's clearly got the talent. I suppose not next, but the journey to that title at 135.
Yeah, of course. That's the aim now, you know, to be a 2-division world champion. He's got the ability to do it. And now it's just about getting that one more fight this year, the bigger fight, you know, not you know, with bigger money, because as well, also, you know, this is a situation where Joe's got to provide for his family. He's had a couple of big paydays, but we've still got a long way to go. That fight was about desire.
Look after me, bro. Look after me.
But that fight was more about desire, because I said to him after, you know, he had the loss, then he had the Shakur Stevenson fight, that fell through. and you're just waiting around for an opportunity that's not coming. So you've got to get in there and have that kind of fight. And if you haven't got the desire anymore, if you don't fancy it, those nights become horrible and turn you off the game. But he showed, he come through, won every round, and he looked like he was enjoying it at times, and he chose that opponent. You know, and that shows you the desire. He didn't want an easy touch. He wanted 10 good rounds with Gary, and that was a big 10 rounds banked.
Joe, to you, moving forward.
Yeah, well, they're going about Mexicans coming over and shocking everyone. They're tough, they're this, they're not, but I'm Welsh, I'm Maltese, that's a dangerous mix, so yeah, bring on any Mexican, I don't care who it is, bring them over, and we'll stop them in their tracks. But before I go, a little shout out to the family of Diego Jota and his brother. Yeah, sadly lost his life, him and his brother, so yeah, my condolences to his family, and God rest them both.
Really well said, Joe. Thank you very much, and congratulations on a great win. Back to winning ways.
Yep, Joe Cordina picks up that WBO Global Lightweight title, and as Eddie Hearn mentioned there, the full title will be contested, the WBO belt, in November, Cole, between Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. When you look at this lightweight division now, though, guys, nice and easy. You look at the Ring Magazine, top 5, the likes of Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda are 2 and 3. They fight, of course, next week in New York. Raymond Muratella, Olympic champion Andy Cruz. As I say, nice and easy. But where do you see Joe Cordina potentially slotting in here?
And when you mention them names, not yet. So, you know, that's just being brutally honest, but it's not to say he can't, and it's not to say he can't beat people in and around there. So beat contenders, look for number 2, number 3, and that's the fight you want.
How do you see it,
There is that trade, Abdullah Mason against Sam Noakes. Abdullah Mason is a young kid. He's very, very good, but there's a good chance Sam Noakes could win that fight just because of his ruggedness, his toughness, and his experience. That's probably, if you're Joe Cordina, you're probably looking at that route more so than Shakur or whoever else. I mean, the lightweight division is very, very hot at the minute. But Joe deserves to be amongst them. He's a great fighter, but another couple of fights maybe before he gets there. Keep dipping his toes in at the new division, keep learning with Gary Lockett, and keep getting better. And no doubt he can do it. No doubt Joe can become a two-weight world champion.
And in terms of just moving back to Cardiff, Tony, Joe was always very vocal about he wanted to win a world title, and that was the selfish part of his career. But as soon as he did it, it became all about his family. Do you understand that mindset? And the happy fighter is a dangerous one, as I always say.
We all, as fighters, our main goal and our lifelong dream is to win a world title. Once you win the world title, the next step is to become financially secure. Myself and Carl know that story. We took that story on, we challenged it, we've done it. For someone like him now with Cordina, he's in a rock and a hard place because the division is seriously stacked, Jay. And you've got to be very careful because the next fight could be his last if you take one of them dangerous names on. So you have to make sure it's the right fight and for the right money. So, you know, listen, he named his price and got it, Shakur Stevenson, it fell through. He's shown you he's willing to face the best, but it's a stacked division.
Even what he was saying, I mean, they had an opponent who was supposedly easier with less knockouts on him. Joe had said that there was no footage of this guy, but his knockout ratio looked good, and that's why I picked him, because I wanted to be switched on. And that's a fighter who wants to get, like, he wants to do something with his career, and he's not just getting easy touches, so you got to respect that, but it is a tough division. I think a couple more fights, and Joe should put his name amongst them top contenders.
Okay then, well, the Welsh Wizard back to winning ways. Nice to see Joe back. He wants all the big names at 135 pounds. And coming up after the break is our top of the bill. The Eubanks are back. Harlan looking to keep the Eubank supremacy alive, whilst Jack Catterall chases a must-needed return to winning ways.
Last time wasn't good enough.
Jack Catterall beaten for only the second time in his career.
This is a new chapter for Jack Catterall.
This is my moment, my chance, my opportunity. Time to burst onto the world stage.
A moment of brilliance from Harlan Eubank.
Harlan Eubank, a solid fighter, but he's not on my level.
He keeps talking about levels. Show me.
I have to win this fight to keep my dreams alive.
And when I beat him, where does he go then?
Eubank looks so dangerous and threatening.
I don't think it's personal, but I'm going to teach him a few things in there.
What am I going to learn from him? Nothing.
His ego isn't going to be the same.
I will be victorious.
The Eubank supremacy is over.
I'm going to show him what the Warrior Code is all about.
This isn't the Warrior Code. This is the Catterall Code. Harlem Eubank. See you soon.
El Gato is like captain of the ship and he's late.
Stuck in traffic, weren't I?
You can't be late, no matter what, even if it's just a bit of crack. You need absolutely ripping in the so we just have to go on time.
Hello. Hey, time to call us.
Traffic coach. Sorry.
He's that late. He wasn't even
Wednesday morning, 10:30, 11:15. So it's a big day today, it's a sparring day, so Shai's kindly come up from Essex to do some sparring. We've been using him for the last couple of weeks. Great work with him. So we're going to spar today, probably get 8 rounds out. We're going to refuel, get a coffee, and then we're in the track this afternoon. So Wednesday's a big day today.
I've done over 100 rounds in Harlem, so I know Harlem very well. Started my career with Adam Booth, so yeah, I know Harlem. And then obviously I've got a southpaw for my fight, so needed Jack as well. To be honest, he hasn't really asked me much. I think he's got a game plan. I think he's focused. More like I'm got a suitable style. Like I'm similar to Harlem, so it kind of benefits him. But not really asked me what he needs to do. He's just focused.
For me, I came into boxing very late. Started in karate as a kid, done it for 4 years, won 2 British titles, got my black belt, and starting secondary school at the age of 11, I went into football. Picked it up very quickly, and within a year I was playing for Brighton & Hove Albion. I've always liked to put myself in an environment where I'm pushing myself to the limit and achieving. And I found boxing after falling out of love with football. And at 18 years of age, walked into the boxing gym, and you're getting punched in the face, and you're trying to figure this out, feeling how hard the sport is, how real it is from the jump. You can either shy away from it, or you can dedicate yourself to it and learn how to develop in the art form, and that's what I chose to do.
Charlie, you run quite a tight ship in here, don't you?
I do until you lot come in. You know what I mean?
We're not spotted, don't we?
Yes, you are, Geese.
No.
You're on the other side.
No, we're not.
No, you are. I'm sorry.
This is for design.
Listen, man's wearing a Matchroom top. And you think you ain't spies?
I don't speak.
Huh?
I don't speak.
You're wearing a Matchroom top? No, my man there, wearing a Matchroom top. All right, warm up, tag, let's go.
What people don't see, they're now seeing Harlem Eubank at a big fight, but what they haven't seen of all the small hall shows, the fights, you know, in leisure centres where he's got to sleep in my van for a same-day weigh-in, all things like that. It builds resilience, it builds character. I see a man who's grown into a real fighter because of his strength of character and his mindset.
With more than 185 fights a year as part of your DAZN subscription, do remember to keep checking out your DAZN schedule. Big fights all the time here on DAZN, and we're also big on the football here too. The countdown well and truly on. We're heading to next week's Club World Cup final here on DAZN. Then, of course, it's back to boxing as Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois battle it out once again, this time for undisputed heavyweight glory on July 19th at Wembley Stadium. August sees unbeaten heavyweight prospect Moses Atalma take on fellow Brit Dillian White in Saudi Arabia during the Esports World Cup Fight Week, all live on DAZN. And welcome back to Manchester. Jack Catterall against the unbeaten Harlem Eubank is fast approaching. Two men who are very confident of having their hands raised and moving on to the world stage after tonight.
Coming off a defeat last time out, it's really put me in a position where I must secure a victory.
This is a world-class fight. That is the level that I'm going up to. You know, when I win, it puts me in a whole new sphere.
That's brilliant if Harlem thinks he can come stop this Saturday, meet me in the middle of the ring and show me, but I don't believe he will.
He doesn't know what I'm capable of, and that is gonna play out in the ring.
Over the years, we've had opponents say X, Y, and Z. I know what I've got to do, and we'll leave him to do what he thinks he can do Saturday.
I'm in the shape of my life, ready to go in there and shock the world, you know, make a statement.
Harlem's operated at a good domestic level. Don't think he's been beyond that yet. That being said, he gets the opportunity to share the ring with me on Saturday, and we'll see where he's at.
I believe that I'm capable of world honours, and this is the fight that opens all the doors to go and win a world title.
I expect Harlem to come out the blocks fast, and I think after a couple of rounds, I'll shut him down, and it'll be the job done for me Saturday night.
Well, here we go then, gents. The countdown is nearly over because the talking is very nearly done. Main event time fast approaching here in Manchester. When you think about Harlem Eubank, first of all, unbeaten through 21 fights, has come up the hard way on the smaller shows, broke through recently, hasn't he, against mutual opponents of Jack Catterall, but it seems that this is the real big chance to show us what he can do.
Absolutely, it's the acid test for him, and he has impressed me in his last few fights, but we'll know a lot more about how good Harlem Eubank is after this fight. You know, Jack Catterall is a world-class fighter. I mean, he has been criticised. I've criticised him as well for sometimes just not going through the gears, but we'll know a lot more about Harlem Eubank. He's up against it tonight. I think that Jack is easily the toughest opponent of his career. His biggest win is probably Schwarzkopf, I think. It was a good win, but it was a few fights ago. Jack's got to be the favourite, but I want to see gears from Jack. We keep talking about it. I want to see what I've seen in the gym. World class at times, and we've seen world class performances on fight night, but let's see what he's like up at welterweight, and I think we're going to see a good performance.
Tony Harlem keeps talking about maintaining that Eubank supremacy, of course, recently buoyed by his cousin Chris Eubank Jr.'s win against Conor Benn. Does that add pressure, or will he feed off that?
Has nothing to do with tonight, Jay. It has no relevance whatsoever. Two totally different people. For me, this is the make or break fight. If Jack Catterall loses this, there's nowhere to go. There's all the pressure on Jack Catterall. There is no pressure on Harlem Eubank. And I say that because he's an unknown quantity. He's not expected to win this. He's jumping 3 levels tonight in one fight. Not 2 levels, 3 levels. He's bypassed British, European and world title level. He's going in here with, you know, who in my opinion at one time was the best light welterweight in the world when he defeated Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. So he's got it all to show. I'm not saying he can't because we don't know his limitations yet. He's undefeated. But